Haitians and the French. Now, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Haitians and French? Those two different people there, ain't they? French people, those Gentiles. Haitians are black people. But go ahead, though.
Simeon, Dominicans, and Spaniards.
Now, wait a minute. I mean, it's funny, but it's not. They saying that Simeon, that's one of the 12 tribes, that's the Dominicans and the Spaniards. The Spaniards are Gentiles. I'm going to show you, but go ahead and read.
Zebulun, Guatemalan, Panamanians, and Spaniards.
Uh-huh.
Ephraim, Puerto Ricans, Spaniards. Manasseh, Cubans, Spain. Gad, North American Indians.
Oh, wait a minute now. Now we get to the North American Indians now. That's Gad. I mean, come on, man. Where are they getting this from? But go ahead, Reuben, number 9.
Reuben, Seminoles, Indians.
The Seminole Indians. Go ahead.
Naphtali, Argentina, Chile, Spain. And Portuguese.
Yeah.
Is that what?
That's okay. Because it ain't none of it true anyway, so. Asher.
Asher, Colombia.
Colombia, that's Asher.
Spain. Issachar, Mexican.
Issachar, the Mexicans. Since they are the most common ones, we're going to deal with them, okay? So now, he said, Issachar, the Mexicans, right? Now, let's go to, we're going to read something here. Go to the next page. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, this is a guy who wrote an article, and he was talking about his heritage. And then finally asked a question there, a rhetorical question, then, well, who are we? Well, we're going to start right here. Start reading right here.
It says, the Aztec Empire before the conquest.
Everybody heard of the Aztec Indians before, right? Well, they were, well, we're going to read. Go ahead.
The encontro between the conquerors and the ancient civilizations will result in massive changes that to this day will still struggle to that we still struggle to understand. No historical writings of the Americans would be complete without the inclusion of the mestizos.
Mestizos. Now, mestizos, that's the people that inbred with the Indians here. Now, we're going to see who we're talking about in a minute. But go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. It says, which were the result of the inbreeding of the Spaniards and the local indigenous people.
Now, hold it right here. Hand me that dictionary right there, that big one, with the cover right now down there. See where the Webster is? Webster. The next dictionary right over. Yeah, give me that one. I'll take that one. That don't matter. All of them say the same thing. I just forgot to grab it. So now, because I want you to see what this word indigenous means. I think we all know, but we're going to read it anyway. So let me find it. Give me a second here. My glasses. Went right to it almost. Okay. Okay. Can you find it here? The indigenous? I can't see it. Give me some more glasses. You see it? I-N-D-I-G-E. You see it?
Hold on. Correct. I'm checking my spellings. Okay, indigenous. It says originating and growing or living in an area of environment. Or area or environment. Then it goes to the second meaning, intrinsic.
Go ahead.
Innate, intrinsic, innate.
See, I should have got the right dictionary, but that's okay though. Bottom line is...
It says here in another one, it says native.
That's what I'm looking for. Indigenous means native. So we're looking at mesticos means the Indians, which are natives here, they mingled or laid with somebody else. The indigenous people did. Now, let's keep reading that.
Yes, says with our stuff here. Let's see.
You stopped that.
Hold on, I got you. Which were the result of the inbreeding of the Spaniards.
Which was a result of who? The inbreeding of the Spaniards. And who else?
And the local indigenous people.
And the local indigenous people. Go ahead.
Who originally inhabited the American continent. The result of the in sutro laid the foundation for the creation of what is now the largest mestizo race of today's American continent.
Now, so mestizos, that's Mexicans. So, and you know, that's what they call them. The Spaniards and the Indians hooked up, and that's how you got the Mexicans. But they ain't the only race that they created. See, the Hispanic people, they not that old of a race. Let's go ahead and read some more.
Okay.
So now you get ready to ask this rhetorical question right here. Go ahead. Who are we?
Says, who are we? We are the offspring that resulted from the conjoining of the conquistadors from the Iberian Peninsula.
Now let me read it. He said, we are the offspring that resulted from the conjoining of the conquistadors from the Iberian Peninsula. Now, where's the Iberian Peninsula? That's in southern Europe. Around Spain and Italy and around there. That's the Iberian Peninsula. So then what we talking about Spain and Italy and all that. What are we talking about then? We're talking about Gentiles, aren't we? Because that's who the conquistadors are. Spaniards, Cortez. Cortez came over here around the 14th, 15th, 16th century or one of those. And then those Spaniards hooked up with the Indian women here. Go ahead and read, though.
It says, with the indigenous women of the Hukel, Yaqui, Husteca, Maya.
Now, everybody heard of the Mayan Indians before, right? Go ahead and read.
The Maya, the Tarahumara, Zapotecan, the Azteca.
Now, we heard of Aztec before, haven't we? Now, these are all natives of this continent. Go ahead.
Tolteca, the Taino, the Inca tribe.
The Incas,
Just to be named a few of the vast number of indigenous tribes that were part of the Encuentro.
In Sutro.
Yeah,
now, so that's how we get all these Hispanic people. They came, the Spaniards. Then one time I met this Mexican guy. So you know I was gonna go up and talk to him and everything, but actually I was studying this. So I said, no, I ain't gonna say that to him. So he came over to me and started talking. So he started asking me for some directions and everything like that. And then so I said, well, I'm gonna go ahead and ask him. And I said, you know, tell me a little bit about the Hispanic people. I said, you're a Mexican, right? But he was dark-skinned though. That's what kind of intrigued me. I knew he was Mexican though. So he said, yeah, well, I'm Mexican, but I'm not really a Mexican. He said, the Indian people, those really the Mexicans. I said, well, man, you know who you look like? He said, yeah, I know. I said, who? He said, I look just like Anthony Quinn. I said, you got it. Everybody know Anthony Quinn, the old famous Italian actor? A good actor, too. He said, yeah, you know, my father was Italian. And I was like, what? I'm thinking that the Hispanic or Mexican people came from the Spaniards. The male Spaniard hooked up with the Indian woman, and that's how you got the Mexicans. And that's how you got all of them, Colombians, all of them. But this guy said Italian, though. He said, yeah, my grandfather on my father's side was Italian. And that's when it hit me. That, you know, that's why some of the Mexicans look dark. Because that's why they call Latinos. And Latino, that's Italian, ain't it? That's the Latin Latinos. Then not only did they come over here, which are the Romans or the Italians come over here with the Indian women, the French came over here too and hooked up with the Indian women. And that's how you got this new race of people called the Hispanic people. They not know Israel. How can they be Israelite when they on their native continent right here? This is the continent they was born on. Israel, we're going to see later on when we start doing black, they were dispersed from Israel around the nation on slave ships. So how could these people be Israelites?
That's right, brother. Make it simple.
How can they be Israelites? They on their native continent. You got some Asian people, Asian people on the Asian continent talking about they Jews. How could you be a Jew and you on your native continent because you wrapped off in this cloth? You know that the Edomite Jews wear. Now you a Jew. That don't make you no Jew. Not no flesh and blood. We want to go back home to our country. You in your country.
Keep it simple, brother.
But I don't want to spend all day on this. I'm just saying though, because this is a big thing in Israel. You got the Hispanic people. You got Hispanic people. They out there with their costumes on too, just like the brothers. Talking about they Israel. No, you're not no Israelite. Now we're not saying that spiritually you can't be no Israelite.
Bring it
Let's go to Romans.
Yes, sir.
Let's go to Rome. Let me get off of that.
Come on.
I mean, it's just ridiculous how some of the stuff that our people teach. Israelites. Romans 2 and 28. Romans 2 and 28. We're not saying that you can't be a spiritual Jew, because that's what everybody's going to have to become. A spiritual Jew.
That's right.
Romans 2 and 28. Romans 2 and 28. Go ahead and read it.
For he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly, neither is that circumcision which is outward in the flesh.
Go ahead.
But he is a Jew which is one inwardly.
He is a Jew which is one inwardly, spiritual.
Yes, sir.
So that covers anybody from any nation. The brothers telling me yesterday, well, what profit is there of being a Jew then? What profit is there said much in every way? Chiefly that unto them were committed the oracles of God.
That's right, brother.
Well, you ain't got no advantage, because this a brother, he don't understand he is Israelite. You ain't got no advantage over me. Well, the Lord said that the word is going to be in Israel's mouth for an everlasting covenant. That's an advantage right there. What Jesus tell the woman at the well. Woman, you know what you worship. I mean, you know not what you worship, but salvation is of who?
The Jews.
The Jews. So that's an advantage there, ain't it?
Every way.
Go ahead and read that 29.
Yes, sir. 29. But he is a Jew which is one inwardly, and circumcision is that of the heart.
Go ahead.
In the spirit and not in the latter. Whose praise is not of men, but of God.
See, we understand that you have to be a Jew here. We understand that. Because Paul told you this too. Let's back up to go over to Romans the 9th chapter. Romans 9. And we're going to pick up at verse 6. Romans 9 and 6. Go ahead and read.
Not as though the word of God have taken none effect. For they are not all Israel, which are of Israel.
Ooh, you see that? So you understand? He said, they are not all Israel, which are of Israel. What does he mean by that? They're not Israel here. They Israel in the flesh. I mean, if you're Israelite, you're Israelite. I mean, you can't do nothing about that. But are you Israelite here, though? That's what counts. This is what's going to get you in the kingdom, not being Israel. And that's what the brothers act like. Being Israel here is what's going to get you in the kingdom. No, being Israel here is what's going to get you in the kingdom.
Yes, sir.
No matter what color you are.
That's right, brother.
And I want everybody to know that. It don't matter what color you are, black, white, Chinese, blue, whatever. You still can get salvation. But spiritually, you got to become a Jew. Spiritually. Let's go now. Because you can tell Israel, you can tell them anything and they'll believe it. Let's go to Micah, the 2nd chapter. Micah 2. And I'll show you what I mean by this in a minute. Micah 2. And we're going to pick it up. We're going to read one verse. Micah 2, and we're going to pick it up at verse 11. Micah 2 and 11. Go ahead and read it.
If a man walking in the spirit, and falsehood do lie, saying, I will prophesy unto thee of wine and of strong drink.
Hold it now. He said, and if a man walking in the spirit and falsehood do lie, saying, I will prophesy unto thee wine,
Of wine and of strong drink.
Uh-huh.
He shall even be the prophet of this people.
You understand? He said, if a man he walking in falsehood and he come and prophesying wine and strong drink, he could be the prophet of this people. Because this people, you can tell them anything and they'll follow it. You understand what I'm saying? Not all of us, but the most of us, you tell them anything. For instance, this Star of David thing. You know, David didn't have no star. You see Edom walking around with a star and everything, talking about the Star of David and all this stuff. And now Israel doing it.
Keep it simple. Yes,
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
You got them all on the internet with their costumes on, got a big old 6-point star right there talking about Star of David. David didn't have no star.
Teach, brother.
If he did, show it to me. But the Lord told him, though, about this star business, didn't he? Let's go over to Amos, the 5th chapter. Amos 5. Let's back up to Amos, the 5th chapter. The Lord told him about messing with these stars. So if you worship the sun and the moon and the constellations, he said, put them, there'd be 2 or more witnesses, put them to death. It'd be a lot of people killed tomorrow, wouldn't it?
Sure enough.
But that's what they worship in the sun. Don't even know it. Well, they ain't come to talk about nobody today, so. Anyway, Amos the 5th chapter. Amos 5 and 25. Amos 5 and 25. Go ahead and read.
Have ye offered unto me sacrifices and offerings in the wilderness 40 years, O house of Israel?
Go ahead.
But ye have borne the tabernacle of your Moloch.
He said, you have borne the tabernacle of your Moloch. That's a false deity right there. Go ahead.
And Chion, your images, the
Go
star
ahead.
of your God,
The star of your God. Go ahead.
which ye made to yourselves.
Uh-huh.
Therefore will I cause you to go into captivity.
And what happened to us?
Went into captivity.
Went into captivity. Not just in Babylon and Media and Persia and Rome, but all over the world. He calls us to go into captivity. He said, therefore, I will cause you to go into captivity. Go ahead.
Beyond Damascus, said the Lord, whose name is the God of hosts.
Now, because the apostle told you about this over in Acts the 7th chapter. Acts the 7th chapter. And we're going to pick it up in verse 41. Acts 7 and 41. Acts 7 and 41. Go ahead and read it.
And they made a calf in those days and offered sacrifice unto the idol.
Now this is the children of Israel. Soon as they came out of Egypt, they made them a calf, didn't they?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and read.
And rejoiced in the works of their own hands. Then God turned and gave them up to worship the host of heaven. As it is written, and though...
You see that God turned and gave them up to what? To worship the host of heaven. What's the host of heaven? That's the stars and the moon and the suns and all that, ain't it?
Yes, sir.
Say God gave them up to worship the host of heaven. Go ahead.
To worship the host of heaven, as it is written in the book of prophets.
Go ahead.
O ye house of Israel, have ye offered to me slain beasts and sacrifices by the space of 40 years in the wilderness?
Go ahead.
Yea, ye took up the tabernacle of Moloch.
He said you took up the tabernacle of Moloch, didn't you? Go ahead and read.
And the star of your God, Remphan.
And the star of your God, Remphan. You understand? So, you know, they walk around talking about this star of David. David didn't have no star. Now, you know, you Edomite Jews, if y'all want to do that, that's on y'all. I don't know what David y'all talking about, but ain't the David of the Bible.
Teach.
But then Israel following right behind them, though. So then, if a guy come and preaching in falsehood, he can preach these people wine and strong drink, and they'll follow him. Ain't nobody did no research on this to find out, well, where did this star come from? And let's go in the Bible and see if David had a star. Ain't nobody did that. Something simple like that. Just, we're going to listen to it, and then we're going to follow it. But David didn't have no star. And that is the star of Remphan. If you want to follow that, go ahead. But this is some of the things, that's why I named this a message to Israel, because I'm talking to my Israelite brothers
Yes, sir.
and sisters.
Yes, sir.
You know, we need to stop. And then, you know, you got them on there, they talking about the sisters and talking about the brothers, how the Lord going to destroy this. And the Lord said, I'm going to make I'm going to get a stranger name better than sons and daughters.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody reading that, though. You ain't reading over in Revelation, the 7th chapter, where you see all nations and multitudes and tongues stood before the throne. Ain't nobody reading that, though. Let's go now. Let's go to Proverbs, the 15th chapter. Proverbs 15. Proverbs 15, and we're going to pick it up at verse, Proverbs 15 and 31. Proverbs 15 and 31. So we all could stand a little of this. You know, everybody needs a reproof sooner or later, don't they?
Indeed.
Because ain't none of us perfect.
No, sir.
Proverbs 15 and 31. Go ahead and read it.
The ear that heareth reproof of life abideth among the wise.
Oh, the ear that heareth the reproof of life abideth among what?
The wise.
The wise. Go ahead.
He that refuseth instruction
Uh-huh.
despiseth his own soul.
So if you refuse instruction, you despise your own soul. Go ahead and read.
But he that heareth reproof getteth understanding.
And that's what we trying to do, ain't it? We're trying to get understanding, right? That's why we come here on the Sabbath, to get understanding. Because just like I'm teaching y'all, I'm teaching myself too.
Make it plain, brother.
Verse 33, go ahead.
The fear of the Lord is instruction of wisdom.
Uh-huh.
And before honor is humility.
Now he said the fear of the Lord is instruction and wisdom. And that's where we need to start right there. The fear of the Lord. Because men don't fear God no more.
Make it plain, brother.
Men don't fear God no more. Wherever you see fear, God is love. Well, I mean, God is love, don't get me wrong.
Come on.
But you ought to fear him too. Because if God loved everybody, well, if he loved everybody, then why is he going to throw people in the lake of fire then?
Make it plain, brother.
Why has he come and took down whole nations, right? Sodom and Gomorrah, he destroyed them with fire and brimstone.
Yes, sir.
That's a strange love there, ain't it?
It's written.
He loved everybody. Let's go now. Let's go to Matthew, the 25th chapter. Let's pick up something else. We're gonna pick up something else here. Because you know you got people out here saying that, you know, they Israelites. And that's what we're dealing with today, Israelites. You know, they over in Jerusalem, and I'm not talking about them or nothing like that because we love them too. You understand? They talking about they're gonna start the kingdom of God. You know, their leader is the Messiah.
No, sir.
I'm like, come on, man. You know, I had a brother, you know, that started coming to church with me and everything. And then next thing I know, one of his frat brothers, which was following them, started talking to him. Next thing I know, pew, he gone. Next thing you know, he got blue fringes on his garments, and he learned Hebrew, got a little kufu on, and I'm like, man, what are you doing? This guy's the Messiah and all. I tried to read him, but he just would not listen. We had Matthew 25 and 31. Matthew 25 and 31. And most Israelites know this. Most Israelites know this. Go ahead and read. Matthew 25 and 31. Go ahead and read.
When the Son of Man shall come in his glory,
Uh-huh.
and all the holy angels with him,
Uh-huh.
then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory.
Uh-huh.
And before him shall be gathered all nations.
You see that? And before the Lord going to be gathered what?
All
nations. Now, if all nations going to be gathered before him, where he going to be? Is he going to be in heaven or is he going to be on earth?
Right here, brother.
You know, go ahead and read, brother.
Mm-hmm. And he shall separate them one from another,
Uh-huh.
as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats.
Go ahead.
And he shall set the sheep on his right hand,
Uh-huh.
but the goats on the left.
Now, you don't want to be this goat right here. You understand? So that's how I know that this is people right here, because he gonna set the sheep on his right hand and the goats on his left hand, and we know where the goats going, don't we?
Indeed.
So we ain't talking about no spiritual beings here. Then when the Lord come back and sit on King David's throne, then
Make it plain.
Go ahead and read.
Verse 34. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come ye blessed of my father, inherit the kingdom, prepared for you from the foundation of the world.
You see that? So we know that the kingdom is going to be right here on the earth.
Yes, sir.
And most Israelites
Yes,
know this.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got some Israelites that's teaching that they're the ones that's going to start this kingdom. And I'm saying, you're not going to start. This kingdom is going to be given. You understand? I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. First, let's go to Luke the 19th chapter. Luke 19. Luke 19, and we're going to pick it up at verse 12. Luke 19 and 12. Everybody got it? Go ahead and read it.
He said, therefore, a certain nobleman went into a far country to receive for himself a kingdom and to return.
Now, a certain nobleman, we talking about Jesus right here.
Yes, sir.
You know, he telling them about himself. He said, a certain nobleman went into a far country to receive for himself a kingdom and did what?
And to return.
And to return. Now, where is he returned? He went to that far country. He returned back to where he came from, didn't he? Skip down to verse 15 and read it.
And it came to pass that when he was returned, having received the kingdom, then he commanded these servants to be called unto him, to whom he had given the money, that he might know how much every man had gained by trading.
Now, he said, and it came to pass that when he was returned, have returned where?
To the earth.
To the earth. That's where he came from, ain't it?
Indeed.
He said, having returned, received the kingdom, then commanded these servants to be called unto him. So now he went into the far country and then he returned, didn't he? Let's go to Daniel, the 7th chapter. I'll tell you what, before we go there, we're going to read something here. Let's read you something. Go ahead, read that right there. Now, called the African Hebrews. Yeah, that's it.
Right here.
Yeah, the African Hebrews.
Excuse me. It says, what does this mean?
Now this is their philosophy now. Go ahead.
Okay, it says African Hebrew Israelites of Jerusalem. So what does this mean to mankind now? That somewhere in this land, there is a body of people dedicated to the fulfillment of this prophecy.
I'll tell you what, let's go up, sir. Let's go up. Start right here. Start reading up there, yeah.
Right here?
Yeah.
Right here, bro.
Yeah, up here. Right here. Just start it right there, yeah.
Okay, it says, but in this land, Israel, Northeast Africa, our perspective is different. Here's the biblical prophets, especially Isaiah and Daniel, taught us of this very real kingdom. The scriptures told us that it will be established in this land at a time when larger nations dominate the globe scene. The global scene. The kingdom would start as a mustard seed.
The kingdom will start as a mustard seed. Go ahead.
Minute and obscure. Yet it will eventually grow and never be destroyed.
Go ahead.
What does this mean to mankind now? That somewhere in this land there is a body of people dedicated to the fulfillment of this prophecy. In order that the words inspired by the Holy One of Israel.
Now wait a minute. So now there's a body of people that's gonna fulfill this prophecy. Now we ain't reading nothing. We're gonna read it. We ain't gonna see nothing about nobody or people that's gonna fulfill this prophecy.
Come on.
And I tell you what, stop right there. Stop right there. Bag up. Turn that page back. Because they quoted a scripture. You got this page here? Yeah, you got that one. Yeah, they quoted to read that right there. Yeah, start right there.
Yes, sir. They quoted Daniel 2:44. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and shall stand forever.
And shall stand forever, right?
Yes, sir.
So now read that right there. Now read that. Go. No. Yeah, that's it. Now read that. Right here. Start back right there.
Yes, sir.
So now they quoting this scripture now. So they thinking that, or believing that, their philosophy is that we're the ones going to start this kingdom. But go ahead and read.
Okay, back at the top. So what does this mean to mankind? Mankind now. That somewhere in the land there is a body of people dedicated to the fulfillment of this prophecy. In order that the words inspired by the Holy One of Israel will not fail.
Now, the words of the Holy One of Israel, we ain't worried about them failing, are we?
No, sir.
Because the book says that his word is not going to come back void, don't it?
Indeed.
Go ahead and read.
Moreover, it is clear that Israel must live out its prophetic purpose. To be light unto the humanity.
Now, that's true right there. That's our purpose. To be light, that was our job. To be a light to humanity. But go ahead and read.
To be a light unto humanity, demonstrating the benefits of living according to the word of God.
Go ahead and read down there now.
Since our arrival in Dimona in 1969, it has been our objective to be the foundation for the establishing of God's kingdom on earth.
You see this? Now this is what they think they're going to do. They're going to establish God's kingdom on earth. But now, but we're going to show you how this kingdom is going to come about now. Let's go to Daniel. Let's go to Daniel, the 7th chapter. So like I said, we're not talking about nobody. We just want to get the story straight.
Teach, brother.
Now remember Jesus gave that parable to Noah, man. He went into a far country and have it returned, right?
Yes,
and
sir.
receive the kingdom, right? Let's go now to Daniel, the 7th chapter. Daniel 7. And we're going to pick it up at verse 13. Daniel 7 and 13. Everybody got it? Go ahead and read it.
I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven.
Now, who is the Son of Man? That's Jesus, right?
Yes,
and
sir.
then the Bible even tell you that he's going to come with the clouds of heaven. Matthew 24th chapter, don't it? Go ahead and read.
And came to the Ancient of Days.
And who's the Ancient of Days? That's the Father, ain't it? Go ahead and read.
And they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory, and a kingdom that is all.
Wait a minute now, wait a minute. You read too fast there. You see what was given him? Read that again.
Yes, sir. Verse 14. And there was given him dominion and glory, and a kingdom.
Oh, so that's that noble man that we were reading about over there in Luke the 19th chapter? Jesus, right? And that was giving him dominion and glory and what?
A
kingdom. And what happened?
That all people, nations, and languages.
Wait a minute. These are people right here, aren't they?
Yes, sir.
Just like we saw in Matthew the 25th chapter where he gonna set the goats on his left hand and the sheep on his right. He said, all people, nations, and languages. Go ahead.
Should serve him.
I told you, man, this ain't about just Israel.
No, sir.
This is about everybody becoming a servant of God and getting into the kingdom. We do realize that everybody's not going to get into the kingdom. And we hoping ourselves that we get into the kingdom, aren't we?
Indeed.
That's all we got is a hope. We're not saved.
No, sir.
Just like a woman could have a miscarriage, a man can have a spiritual miscarriage at any time.
Make that plain, brother.
Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. Should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away.
Go ahead.
His kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. I, Daniel, was...
So he said that was given him dominion, glory, and a kingdom, right?
Yes,
that
sir.
all people, nations, and languages should serve him, and his dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall what? Not pass away.
Yes,
and
sir.
his kingdom, that which shall not be what? Destroyed. Now, we got to find out where this kingdom going to be now, don't we? Skip down to verse 27 and read it.
And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven.
Under what?
The whole heaven.
Well, where's under the whole heaven at?
On earth, brother.
On earth. You ain't going to heaven. You're not going up to heaven. He said the kingdom and the dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven. Go ahead.
Shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High,
Uh-huh.
whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom,
Go ahead.
and all dominions shall serve and obey him.
You see what the kingdom gonna be?
Yes, sir.
On the earth. And the kingdom and the dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High. Now, if you're going up to heaven, then are you saints of the Most High? You're going to be up there, and then the Lord and his servants and his saints going to be down here on the earth.
Teach.
You understand? You know, you got people teaching there ain't going to be no people here when the Lord returns. This is where he's going to be, dealing with people. Right here on the earth. Trying to, this last push for this 1,000 years, trying to get this man straight.
That's what the book
Because
says.
after this 1,000 years, if you don't, during this 1,000 years, you don't get yourself straight, you going to the fire.
Plain and simple.
You see how merciful God is? He gonna give you, if you live it, he gonna give you 1,000 years to get yourself together. That's if you live it. But just like Jesus said, I know what my time is, your time is always. We could die at any time. So you want to take a chance on wait for this 1,000 years, you go right ahead. I'm trying to do mine now. I'm trying to get it right now. So if he do lay me to sleep, then when I wake up, I'll possibly get into the kingdom. So now, don't look like somebody gonna be starting this kingdom. He the one gonna be giving man this kingdom, ain't he?
That's what the book says.
Who gonna give him the kingdom? The Father. So ain't no man gonna start no kingdom. I mean, it's a good idea and all this stuff, but it ain't gonna work according to the scriptures. He is the one that's gonna be given the kingdom. Jesus is. He gonna be giving it to the people of the saints of the Most High. Now, let's go now. Let's go. I know, this might be a little strange for some people, but that's all right, though. Keep coming.